Shalom, shalom. Forgive me. Kahala Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh. Shalom, Israel. You see the title, you see what it is. I ain't gonna play with you right now. I see Israel really on the decline. And my brother has talked about this. My brother Judah talks about this all the time. He talks about Torah Israelites are going to lead the way. I understand that. But being a Torah Israelite is not being an Old Testament Israelite. And some of you cats are just Old Testament Christians. And see, when my brother Judah used to say that, I didn't really agree with that at first. But the more and more I look around, the more and more I see the brother is right. Shalom, King. Now, the thing is right here. Israel is starting to go around with this doctrine that it's impossible to keep the law. Now, I'm going to go and say this first. You niggas are Christian. Point blank, period. It don't matter if you straight Old Testament. If you still teaching you can't keep the law, you a Christian. You know what I'm saying? And you got these wicked ass jakes, bro, going around here with this doctrine. It's impossible to keep the covenant off the covenant land. It's impossible. Man, shut up. Because you know what we're going to have to do? We're going to show you today now not only how false that is, but we're going to show you some great examples of that, right? And to my Torah night brothers, you know what I'm saying? They heard this breakdown before, but I'm going to go ahead and share this one with the world. So this right here, this breakdown is for all the wicked jakes who keep on saying there is no way to keep the covenant while not on the covenant land, right? So let's do this. So let's go ahead. Let's get this all situated. Okay. Go ahead and get to this thing. I'm going to use Blue Letter. I got my stones open as well. Okay. And remember, like I said, man, this is going to be for all these Israelites who for some reason say you can't keep the covenant, that it's impossible to keep the covenant while not on the land. Okay. So this is what we're going to do. And we're going to do this. And we're going to need some breakdown. So before we get there, let's do this. Let's go ahead and show the first stumbling block that came across these cats. Let me go back. And so this is what we're going to do, because I've noticed something. The same cats who trip and fall doing this are the same cats who don't ever go to the diagram. So let's go to the diagram real quick. All right, so we're going to go to the book of Isaiah, and let's get this diagram real quick. So we go to Isaiah 28. All right, so let's hit this 28. 28:9. Whom shall he teach knowledge? And whom shall he make to understand doctrine? Dig that? Them that are weaned from the milk and drawn from the breast. For precept must, keyword, must be upon precept, precept upon precept, line upon line, line upon line, here a little and there a little. Now, let me go ahead and start this. Most of these jakes that I keep hearing pushing this doctrine, they don't do no precepts. They pull one verse and then they go into a spiel about it. Have no precepts about nothing. But then run around and be like other people spilling false doctrine. So let's go ahead back to it. Let's show the power and how there's an order to all of this. So this is Daniel 1:1. In the 3rd year of the reign of Jehoiakim, king of Judah, came Nebuchadnezzar, king of Babylon, unto Jerusalem and besieged it. And the Lord gave Jehoiakim, king of Judah, into his hand with part of the vessels of the house of God, which are carried into the land of Shinar. So let's stop. From this point right here, the story goes from Judah to now being in Babylon, Shinar, right? So, as we all know, Daniel spent just about his whole life in Babylon, right? Because some of y'all know where I'm going, but let's watch this. Watch this. It says, and the king spake unto Asaphat, the master of the eunuchs, that should bring a certain of the children of Israel, and the king's seed and the princes, children of whom no blemish, but well favored and skillful in wisdom and cunning and knowledge and understanding science, as such had the ability in them to stand in the king's palace, and whom they might teach the learning and the tongue of the Chaldean, right? So now watch this. Now let's show your bro Daniel. Let's show cousin Daniel keep all the laws while he's in captivity. You dig that? Watch this. And the king appointed them daily provision and the king's meat, and of the wine which he drank, so nourishing them 3 years at the end, therefore that they might stand before the king. Now among these were the children of Judah, Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, whom the prince of the eunuchs gave names, for they gave unto Daniel the name Belteshazzar, Hananiah, Shadrach, Mishael, Meshach, and Azariah, Abednego, right? But Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat. Now, let's stop real quick. As we all know, we are not allowed to eat things that are offered to idols, right? Now, watch this. You're going to have a lot of cats who are going to say, well, you can't keep the covenant off the land because we ain't in the land where we can just kill our own sheep and we can't just kill and do it the way we're supposed to. Okay, well, number one, it just clearly told you that kingship now was with Nebuchadnezzar. And this is where a lot of guys get tripped up. There are aspects of our covenant that only apply when we have kingship. Nebuchadnezzar has kingship, but watch what Yahweh does. Watch this. And the prince of the eunuchs said to Daniel, but Daniel proposed in his heart that he would not defile himself with the portion of the king's meat, nor with the wine which he drank. Therefore he requested of the prince of the eunuchs that he might not defile himself. Now Elohim had brought Daniel into favor. So it's Yahweh who delivers you, no matter if you're in captivity or not. Okay, cool. Now Elohim had brought Daniel into favor and tender love with the prince of the eunuchs, right? So he sent love to their heart, right? And the prince of the eunuchs said unto Daniel, I fear my lord the king, whom have appointed your meat and your drink. For why should he see your faces worse liking than the children which are of your sword? Then ye shall make me endanger my head to the king. So the dude is telling Daniel, hey, bro, if you don't eat this food, man, the king might whack me, bro. Now watch this. Then Daniel said to Mezar, who was the prince of the eunuchs, had set over Daniel, Hananiah, Mishael, and Azariah, prove thy servants, I beseech thee, or I'm asking you, 10 days, let them give us posts. So wait, let's stop right there. All righty. All right. So post zara, masculine noun, translation of following, something sown or plural, a vegetable. Okay. As food, post, vegetables, herbs, vegetable, table food such as eaten half fast, opposed to flesh or more delicate food. So Daniel, boom. So watch this. So Daniel said, wait a minute, I don't want to eat the king's meat. Now watch this. How was that? Let's prove that Daniel is staying to the covenant, because the covenant is obviously deeper than some of these Israelites. So let me make sure I just want to make sure I hit it on the right place. Let's see. Oh, okay, here you go. So this is Genesis 1:29. And Elohim said, behold, I have given you every herb bearing seed, which is upon the face of all earth, and every tree, which is the fruit of the tree yielding seed, that it shall be for meat. So wait a minute. That's one head log, because you don't have to, when you go off the covenant land, show me a place in the world where you can't find a tree, where you can't find some plants. See, Daniel knew how to beat that. See, Daniel said, I ain't going to eat the king's meat. I'm just going to go back to being a vegetarian as what? As the Torah tells you, Genesis 1:29. See, y'all done fucked up with the general, bro. See, you know who you are. You know I'm talking to you, specifically talking to you, because you going around now telling people it's impossible to keep the law. So once again, when they told Daniel, we finna go eat meat, Daniel said, prove thy service, I beseech thee. So he's like making a bet. He says, 10 days, let them give us vegetables to eat and water to drink. So watch this. Now, cats are telling you you can't keep the covenant for one excuse is because we can't kill our food. We can't do all this. But I'm showing you right here, right now, that's false. Eating meat and eating the lamb is a choice. You can always go eat you some plants for free. That's why Yahweh said, I gave you this. Plants that grow naturally are free, homie. You go pay money to get it at the store. But Yahweh's already set it up. So once again, when these cats say you can't keep covenant while being off the land, I want to personally show you they're liars. Period. Now watch this. Prove thy servant, I beseech thee, 10 days, and let them give us posts to eat and water to drink. Let our countenance, or our skin, the way we look, be looked upon before thee, before the 10 days, and the countenance of the children that eat the portion of the king's meat. And thou seest that they're thy servants. So what he's saying is give us 10 days and come look back at our faces and look at our skin in comparison to the people who've been eating the king's meat for 10 days. Watch this. So he consented to them in this matter and proved them 10 days. And at the end of 10 days, their countenance appeared fairer and fatter, and the flesh than the children which did eat the meat, the portion of the king's meat. So you see that? So let's stop. Thus Melzar took away the portion of their meat and wine, and that they should drink, and gave them posts. So all praise to Yahweh. Daniel's in captivity, right? Daniel's not going to go eat the defiled food, right? So Daniel quickly goes back to his knowledge. Daniel didn't have to pray in this situation. Daniel went back to his knowledge. Why? Because Daniel knew the Torah. Daniel knew Genesis 1:29. He knew that you're actually supposed to be a vegetarian when you truly, deeply understand this walk. Yes, it's nothing wrong with eating meat, but you have to eat the clean meats. So, man, the general on your ass, bro, and you lucky. You lucky I'm only on lunch break. Because if I wasn't on lunch break, man, I would destroy you so fast. Man, check this out. Let's keep going, right? So we've shown that now there's no more excuse about not being able to keep your dietary law while in captivity. You can literally be a vegetarian and you get around all of that. So don't let cats tell you there is no way to do the covenant while in captivity. I'm showing you Daniel is keeping his dietary laws while in captivity. So what's your excuse? Man, let's keep going, bro. Man, what these dudes don't even know, bro. I promise. I promise. You just lucky I ain't got as much time as I want. Man. Alrighty. Here we go. Daniel 3. Let's get that strong. So let's show how you keep the covenant. How it is to keep the covenant while being in captivity. Nebuchadnezzar the king made an image of gold, whose height was 80 cubits, and the breadth therefore 6 cubits. He had it set up in the plain of Dura in the province of Babylon. Okay, for all my Torah knights who understand height, length, width, the dimensions of his golden statue was 666. Okay? This is where you get this whole new world order, worship the 666. See, this started then. They do it in a different way now. Because for the ones who definitely understand the math and the geometry that comes into this, 666 is 18. Half of 18 is 9. If you understand that, you do. If you don't, I'm sorry. I ain't going to explain it to you. Let's keep going. Then Nebuchadnezzar king sent to gather together the princes, the governors, and the captives, and the judges, and the treasurers, and the councils, and the sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province to come to the dedication of the image which Nebuchadnezzar king has set up. So let's go hit the law real quick. Because, dudes keep on saying, oh, man, there is no way that you can keep covenant without being on the covenant land. Okay, check this out, right? So let's go to Exodus 20, right? Okay, cool. Exodus 21, and Elohim spoke all these words, saying, I am Yahweh, thy Elohim, which have brought thee out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You shall not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness or anything that is in heaven, that is in the earth, or beneath, that is in the water under the earth. Here go. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. Let's hold that right there. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them, right? Okay. Daniel 3. Daniel 3 and 3. Then the princes, the governors, and the captain, the judges, treasurers, counselors, sheriffs, and all the rulers of the province were gathered together until the dedication of the image of Nebuchadnezzar, king, has set up. And he stood before the image that Nebuchadnezzar has set up. It says, then a herald cried out loud, to you it is commanded, O people, nations, that languages, that at a time ye hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, suckbuck, plastery, I'm murdering some of these words, dissimilar, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar king has set up, right? And whoso falleth not down and worship shall the same hour be cast into the midst of the burning furnace, right? Therefore, at that time, when all the people heard the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, the setback, pastry, and all kinds of music, and all the people and the nations and the language fell down and worshiped the golden image that Nebuchadnezzar king had set up. Therefore, at that time, certain Chaldean came near and accused the Israelites, because we're talking about Daniel, and then spake unto the king Nebuchadnezzar, O king, live forever. And just for anybody who don't know, the word Nebuchadnezzar means may Nebo live forever. Okay? It says, O thou king has made a decree. This is Daniel 3 and 10. O thou king has made a decree that every man that shall hear the sound of the cornet, the flute, the harp, and all kinds of, sackbut, pastry, disclaimer, and all the kinds of music shall fall down and worship the golden image. And whoso falleth not down and worship, that he be cast into the midst of the burning furnace. There are certain Israelites whom we have set over the affairs of the province of Babylon, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. These men, O king, have not regarded thee. You know why? Because they keep in that law. Thou shalt not bow down thyself to them. Right? He ain't even said about serving and worship. This is just on the bowing part, right? Man, you really got me on my shit, bro. Hey, man, tour nights and the general, bro, you're going to learn to start talking about us, bro, because I'm finna embarrass you and show your congregation as well that you don't know that shit you speaking, bro. Let's keep this shit going, bro. It says, then the certain Jews of Babylon, and Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these men, O king, have not regarded thee thyself. It says, they serve not thy gods, nor worship the golden image, what they have set up. You see that? They serve not their gods, because remember, Nebuchadnezzar's name is made Nebo live forever. Watch that precept. Exodus 25. Thou shalt not bow down thyself, nor serve them. Wait. Remember all the accusations they made. It says, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego, these men, O king, have not regarded thee. They serve not their gods, nor worship the golden image. You see that? So, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego are in captivity, keeping the law. You see that? Keeping the covenant. Why are they keeping the covenant? Because they didn't bow down. Watch this. Then Nebuchadnezzar, in his rage and fury, commanded to bring Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. Then they brought these men before the king. Nebuchadnezzar spake and said unto them, is it true, O Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego? It says, do not ye serve my gods? You hear that? Nor worship the golden image which I have set up? Now, if ye be ready, that what time you hear the sound of the cornet, flute, harp, suckback, pastry, disclaimer, dulcimer, and all kinds of music, ye fall down and worship the image which I have made. Well, but if ye worship not, ye be cast in the same hour into the midst of the burning furnace, and whom is that God that he shall deliver you out of my hands? You see that? When he said, who was the God that's going to deliver you from me? That's where he fucked up. See, when you get that attitude right there, that's when Yahweh starts showing out on you. Watch this. Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego answered and said, oh, to the king Nebuchadnezzar, we are not careful to answer thee in this matter. If be so, our God, whom we serve, is able to deliver us from the burning fiery furnace, and he will deliver us out of the hand, O king. But if not, be it known unto thee, king, that we will not serve thy gods, nor worship the golden image that thou hast set up. So let's stop right there. That's powerful. That's deep. Their faith was so intact, they said, we'll take death before we worship your God or your image. Now, once again, they're not on the covenant land. They're in captivity. But you know why? Because Yahweh is the God, not Nebuchadnezzar. So once again, this proves that they're keeping the covenant. They're keeping the dietary, and they're also keeping the part of the law that talks about idolatry. So they're keeping both parts of their covenant while not on the land. You know, this is real crazy, man. That these other cats tell it, it's impossible to keep the covenant off the land. Okay. Now, we all know the story that Yahweh delivers them. So Nebuchadnezzar is not able to kill them, right? Okay, cool. Okay. So we're just making a distinction here, you know, for all these Jakes still telling people it's impossible to keep the covenant while you're not on the land. Now watch this. In fact, you know what? Because this between chapter 4 and what's the name of 5, that's going to be Nebuchadnezzar's dream and Daniel interpreting the dream, right? And then you get into 5, if I'm correct, trying to make sure I'm right. Okay, cool. Okay, let's just fix the spirits. You know what? Nah, I think we just need to go on his 6. Okay. I ain't got much time. It pleased Darius to set over the kingdom 120 princes, which should be over the whole kingdom, and over these 3 presidents, whom Daniel was first. So this is how you get the covenant back in the land. This is how you get your covenant back in captivity, because Yahweh, just like he set up Moses, will set up an Israelite to lead everybody, to show them their way. Right? Right? Okay. And took 3 presidents over Daniel, which was the first president, may give accounts unto them, and the king that shall have no damage. Then Daniel was preferred above all the presidents and the princes of the excellent spirit in him, and the king thought to set him over the whole realm. Then the presidents and the princes sought, them hating ass niggas, sought to find occasion against Daniel concerning the kingdom, because they was hating because Daniel got put on the top. Because remember, like my brother Judah and I explain all the time, the king is not the head of the kingdom. It's the prophet that the king goes to. So in this matter, the prophet that Darius is going to is Daniel. He goes to Daniel for all his affairs, just like Nebuchadnezzar did. Once again, I'm going to say this again. This is the order of how Yahweh was able to set us up in the land of our captivity. So once again, don't let these Israelites tell you there is no such thing as keeping the covenant off the land. It's bogus. And their understanding is askew. Okay. And they have no clothes on. But nonetheless, it says, then said these men, we shall find any occasion against Daniel except against him concerning the law of his God. You see that? You see that? All praise to Yahweh. Then the presidents and the king assembled together, and the king Darius said unto him, King Darius, live forever. It says, all the presidents of the kingdom and the governors and the princes and the councils and the captains have consulted together to establish a royal statute and to make a firm decree that who shall ever make a petition or any man of 30 days, save the old king, shall be cast into the den of lions. Now, we all know this story, okay? Now, watch this. It says, now when Daniel knew that the writing was signed, he went into his house, to his windows being open. His chamber was towards Jerusalem. He kneeled upon his knees 3 times a day and prayed and gave thanks before his God, as he did after time. Then these men assembled and found Daniel praying and making his supplication before his God. Then came near to speak before the concerning the king's decree. How's that now signed the decree that every man shall ask a petition of any God within 30 days, save thee, O king. The king shall be, it says, O king, shall be cast in the den of lions. And the king answered and said, the thing is true according to the law of the Medes and the Persians, which alter not. Then answered and said before the king that Daniel, which is of the children of the captivity, they're not on the land, right, of Judah regarding the king, or no, the decreeing thou shalt sign, but be make of his petition 3 times a day. You see that? So Daniel didn't give a fuck about what they said about you can't go worship no other God. Daniel said, no, I'm still finna go praise Yahweh like I do every day. And as we know in the story, Yahweh saves Daniel. Right? He saves Daniel. So we're going to show again, Daniel falls under that same, because he would not bow down to the images. He would not serve. He would not do idolatry. That's keeping the covenant. So watch this. They're going to say, so we've shown dietary wise, and we've shown morally as far as idolatry wise, right? So let's go to this. All right, Daniel 9. Okay. So then people say, well, you got to go be able to do sacrifices and go do this and go do that. Well, first off, you have to always start with yourself. Now watch this. And this is Daniel 9:3. And I set my face unto Yahweh Elohim to seek by prayer and supplications with fasting and sackcloth and ashes. And I prayed unto Yahweh my Elohim and made my confession. See that? And said, Oh Yahweh, the great and dread, I want y'all to listen to this. The great and dreadful God. You hear that? Keep the covenant, keeping the covenant and mercy to them that love him and to them that keep his commandments. Is that saying anything about we got to be on the land to do this? Daniel just cut your head off. Now watch what Daniel does. We have sinned. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. It says, and have rebelled even by departing from thy precepts and thy judgments. Man, boy. You look, I ain't got more time. I got to go back to work. War mode on your ass, bro. So let's do this. Let's get that precept for that. Well, I know there's one in 50. So we got to do 55? No. Let's do Psalm 50. Y'all know I love Psalm 50, man. Because I get to cut their head off with this. Okay. Psalm 50. Ooh-wee. Here you go. Psalm 50:8. I will not reprove thee for thy sacrifices or thy burnt offerings to have been continually before me. I will take no bullock out of the house, nor he goats out of thy folds. For every beast of the forest is mine, and the cattle upon 1,000 hills. I know all the fowls or birds of the mountains, and of the wild beast, and of the field are mine. If I were hungry, I would not tell thee, for the world is mine, and the fullness therefore. Will I eat the flesh of bulls or drink the blood of goats? See that question mark? Offer God thanksgiving and pay thy vows unto the Most High, and call upon me in the day of trouble, and I will deliver thee, and thou shalt glorify me. See that? So wait a minute. I got a precept for that. So I got my stones open too. So I definitely want to just dismantle some of y'all, man. Boy, you got off lucky, boy. I'll praise you, Howard. Like I said, I'm on my lunch break. And if I just had about one more hour, man, I promise I would really lay into your ass deeply. But we're going to keep this thing going. So this is what we're going to do. Excuse me. That precept ready. Okay, cool. So let's hit the precept and that precept in Psalm 34. And then obviously we know there's another precept. Was that about around Psalm 70? So watch this. It says, the righteous cry, and Yahweh heareth and deliver them out of their troubles, right? The Lord is nigh unto them of a broken heart, and save them of a contrite spirit. So that says Yahweh is close to the ones with a broken heart and a broken spirit. But what it's clearly pointing out to you is that your offering is you. You have to go and make yourself the offerer first. That's number one. Watch this. Man, okay, watch this. Let's just show this. Let's just show. Okay. So this is Daniel 9. Keep thy covenant mercy to them that love him and keep his commandments. We have sinned. We have committed iniquity. We have done wickedly. We have rebelled. Confused. Wait. Let's get some on these words. Okay. Okay. Wow. This is Daniel 9 and 20. As while I was speaking and praying and confessing my sin and the sin of my people, Israel, and presenting my supplication. You see that? You see that? Supplication. Favor, supplication, and favor, supplication. Graciousness causes us, entreaty, favor, grace, supplication, prayer, supplication, cry. So nowhere in there did it say Daniel's offering blood, right? That's one. I hate when it does that. So he says, and presenting my supplication. So Daniel. Now watch this. And it says, and yet while I was speaking in prayer, even the man Gabriel, whom I seen in the vision at the beginning, caused me to fly swiftly and touch me about the same time of evening, the evening oblation. So the evening offering. What is the evening offering? Watch this. See that? It says gift, tribute, offering, present, obligation, sacrifice, meat, offering, gift, present, tribute, offering to God, grain offering. You see that? Usually bloodless and voluntary. So we're going to come back to where we are. And, we're just going to leave it off like this. Don't let none of these wicked Israelites tell you there's no such thing as keeping your covenant while off the covenant land. Them cats is unlearned and untrained. And y'all, so lucky I'm on lunch break. But there's going to be a part 2 to this war mode. So I'm going to say, man, all praises to Yahweh, Kahala Yahweh. Do your diligence. Keep your temple man correct. Keep your dietary laws correct. And don't listen to none of these wicked ass niggas talking about it's not possible to keep the laws, to keep the covenant while being in captivity. The next time they say that to you, take them to the book of Daniel and have them go through it and then tell them why was Daniel able to do it. And then don't try to let them get out, oh, spiritual. No, nigga. No, nigga. It's about diet. It's about choice. Flat simple. Man, with that, I want to say all praises to you. How it look, y'all. We're going to come back to this, though, man. We definitely going to come back to this one, man. Shalom. Hey, y'all, praise Yahweh day and night. No matter if it's good or bad, praise Yahweh day and night, y'all. I love y'all. Shalom, man.